Most times, we deprive ourselves the life we desired to make life comfortable for others. We do this out of love, but the most hurtful thing about it is that we receive little or no appreciation for this love. Sometimes, we bled blood and water to protect our loved ones, but on the contrary, they despise us for our generosity. From their perspective, we cage them, we deprive them of their happiness. We are wicked. Ada was the first daughter of her parents. The name Edie is a name mostly given to the first daughters in the Igbo tribe of Nigeria, West Africa. Ada's parents had her immediately after their marriage. Unfortunately, after her birth, the mother could not conceive again until after 10 years. She had 4 more kids, 3 girls and a boy, before she died during childbirth. Ada's father also died a year after. Ada was left with the responsibilities of raising her siblings, barely at 20. Due to the raving story of house helps being maltreated, some molested, others used for money rituals, Ada decided not to give out any of her siblings. She decided to continue her mother's food business. Ada quitted her dream of becoming a nurse, she deprived herself of social life, she was barely concerned of her look. She was always focused, moving from one remote village to another, in search of fruits. She bought these fruits from the village, take them to the city to sell for more profit. She did this to support her family, feed and train her siblings in school. She made sure that none of her siblings lacked in areas that she did not meet up. She trained them up to the university levels. After 20 years since their father died, 2 of Ada's sisters were already married. They were all graduates. Ada was happy because she saw her siblings living the life that she wanted for them. However, there was this silent war between Ada and her sisters, they all bore grudges against her. According to them, Ada was too harsh on them during their adolescent period. Being that Ada had little or no time for her siblings, due to the nature of her business, she was too protective of her sisters during their teenage stage. She was ready to embarrass any young guy she saw with any of her sisters. She did that because she doesn't want any of her sisters to suffer or bear the burden she was bearing. Ada never knew that her sisters had this against her. One day, Ada met the shock of her life. Precious, which was the third daughter, had a misunderstanding with her husband. Ada tried to advise her to respect her husband, but Precious told Ada to get married fast and get experience before she advises her. Ada couldn't believe that in her life any of her siblings would ever remain her that she was not married. That statement hurt Ada so much that whenever she remembers it, she clings. Also, John, her only brother, grew up to be a chronic womanizer. Though John was doing well in his business, but the manner at which he clubs and lavish money gave Ada serious concern. Ada stopped bothering herself about John the day John reminded her that she was not his mother. This statement and lots more from her siblings sometimes made her regret her decision, but whenever she remembers that her siblings were doing well, she beams a smile and commends herself. One December, Oluchi, Ada's immediate younger sister, gave birth to a baby girl. When Ada heard the news, she was so excited. She hurried to the market to buy foodstuff for Omogo. Omogo is one of the most respected culture in Igbo tribe. When a woman gives birth, her mother is expected to come within the week, with some foodstuff and herbs. She is to take care of the woman that gave birth, as well as the baby for at least 1 to 3 months. During this period, her daughter learns how to birth the baby and how to take care of herself after birth. When Ada got to Oluchi's house for Omogo, at first only she was not happy because Ada did not call her before coming. That same evening, Oluchi told Ada that she should go back, that her mother-in-law would come for Omogo. She told Ada that she had no motherhood experience, she would be no use being in her house, since she had no Omogo experience. The next day Ada went back to the village. Ada, having realized that she was alone in this life, began to reminisce her fate at old age. She often asked herself, who was her own? What was her own? At 40, no husband, no child, and her fruit business no longer booming. With these thoughts going on in her mind day and night, Ada became depressed. She resorted to alcohol. She stopped her business entirely. She started looking unkempt and dirty, also given that she was fat made her look so disgusting. Every drinking joint in the village knows Ada. She hated herself so much that sometimes she thought of suicide. She became an object for mockery in the village. She made people laugh in the public and weep bitterly in the secret. There was this young man called Ben. Ben was Ada's classmate in the secondary school. Ben was a successful businessman in Onitsha, but was duped by scammers when he wanted to travel to Canada. Ben was left with nothing, then he returned to the village. He sold one of his father's plots of land and purchased a tricycle, thence he started his life afresh. One day, Ada fell by the roadside after drinking. Many people passed without looking her side. When Ben saw her, he managed to put her in his tricycle, took her home to his house. Ada woke up with heavy headache, but Ben insisted that she sleep over when she wanted to go because it was already late in the night. Ben calmly talked to Ada after Ada narrated incidents that led to her depression. The next day, Ada went home. Initially, Ada took Ben's advice for granted, but Ben was unbent. He wanted to help her. First, he started buying clothes for her, took her to the salon to get her hair done. Then promised to give her money to resume her fruit business and also made it a habit to come to Ada's house every evening after work, to gist and chat with her. Gradually, Ada started developing feelings for Ben. She stopped drinking. Ben, on the other hand, being that he had passed through a series of heartbreaks, believed that Ada would give him the love he deserved. The love between Ada and Ben began to wax stronger. After a few months, Ben gave Ada some money to start her fruit business. Ada was so happy. For the first time she felt loved and pampered. They started growing together both in business and love. Ben decided to up his game by paying Ada dowry, so they can live together forever. Everything seemed like a dream to Ada. Things were happening so fast and easy. Ada got pregnant few months into the marriage. She couldn't believe that in this life, she would ever have a child to call hers. She never dreamt of her own family. Ben was a blessing sent directly from heaven. Ben was a prayer answered and her Messiah. Suddenly, Ada's joy was shortened by a very terrible incident. Ben, who had become a bus driver, woke up one morning, drove to the junction to load his bus. An argument ensued between Ben and Agboro. Agboro is a Nigerian given name to touts, especially those at motor park. As they were fighting, the Agboro stabbed Ben in the neck. Before they got to the hospital, Ben kicked a bucket. On hearing the news, Ada clung and cried so bitterly and questioned God of his existence. With the help of her mother-in-law and Ben's siblings, Ada put to bed safely. She gave birth to a baby boy and named him after Ben. Ada could not bear the pain of losing the only person that has shown her love in this life. One day, she handed her son to her mother-in-law and secretly took a knife. She went to the motor park and found the Agboro that murdered her husband. Ada stabbed him multiple times in the neck even before people could gather to stop her. The man died at the spot. Ada was arrested. She pleaded with her mother-in-law to take good care of her son and raise him well. Ada's fate is yet to be determined. Sometimes, you wonder why some people's lives are so hard that happiness sounds like a miracle to them. Let's be nice to people, irrespective of who they are. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.